Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, typically this time of year, Criterion does a flash sale, and I think it's going to be this coming week. Usually it's the end of February, beginning of March, but if you're a subscriber to the Criterion channel, they will often send out a coupon, which I did receive in my email. So I'm thinking it's possibly going to be this week. Obviously no guarantees here, but it seems like it's going to be this week. So I thought I would share with you some of my Criterion flash sale picks. And I've got a few things to show you here today, some of which I don't think I've shown on the channel before. This first one is a beautiful performance from Sidney Poitier and many others in A Raisin in the Sun. I just love this. If you're a fan of the theater and Sidney Poitier, this is a great movie. And again, it's a film version of a play. And I'm just going to hold these up a little longer, so if you want to pause on these, you can. I'm not going to spend too much time on each title, but I will try to show you the inside of each one. This is beautifully put together from the Criterion Collection. It is directed by Daniel Petrie, and it is a movie from 1961. I'm going to read a little bit of the back. Lorraine Hansberry's immortal A Raisin in the Sun was the first play by a black woman to be performed on Broadway. This is great. I was going to also mention the performance from Ruby Dee, as well as many others. This is an amazing film. Highly recommended, again, if you're a fan of the theater. This is a great movie. Next up, a fairly recent film from 2021 called Bergman Island. This is one of my favorites also. This is, I'll show the back here as well so you can see some of the extra features on this. This is spine number 1170 from the Criterion Collection. I love this movie. It is writer-director Mia Hansen-Løve embarks on a luminous summertime odyssey to the home of Ingmar Bergman. Of course, I'm a big fan of Ingmar Bergman on this channel. Her seventh feature, a graceful, shape-shifting tale about the interplay of life and art and the ways in which stories are born. This is an amazing film. I highly recommend it. It's a very quiet watch, but just a really well-done film, and you get to see what Bergman Island looks like, which I thought was very cool. Next up, I'm a big fan of Stephen Sondheim, and I was just recently watching the Stephen Sondheim documentary where they showed clips of this. But this is the original cast album for Company, one of my favorite Stephen Sondheim musicals. I'm a big fan of musicals also. This shows the recording of the cast album. There's the back of that as well, with lots of extra features on it. This is spine number 1090 from the Criterion Collection. It is a movie from 1970. Again, I'm a big fan of movies from the 1970s. I'll open this up also, but it really shows you how Sondheim worked, all the cast members giving their all in this performance again, it's more of a documentary for the recording of the cast album, but it really gives you an insight into the way Sondheim works. It's a film by D.A. Pennebaker. I love this movie and highly recommend it. Again, if you're a fan of musicals and the theater, this is also great. I've talked about this trilogy on the channel before, but I thought I'd show it. It's one of my favorites, and I highly recommend it. I'm going to link. I did some very detailed videos on these films, but this is the Koker trilogy. If you get a chance, these are three films from Abbas Kiarostami, one of my favorite directors. This package is so well put together. So you'll see the three spine numbers here, 990, 991, and 992. And there's the back of that. Lots of extra features on this release, but you really get a sense of how Abbas Kiarostami works with these films. Very quiet films, very contemplative. The Koker trilogy contains Where is the Friend's House and Life Goes On and Through the Olive Trees. And again, I'm going to link some detailed videos that I did on the Koker trilogy if you're really interested in this, but I'm such a big fan of Abbas Kiarostami. The flash sale is a perfect time to pick up a set like this or any of the other box sets because they'll hopefully be 50% off. This next movie was a first watch for me. If you've been watching the channel, you know what a fan I am of Peter Falk and John Cassavetes, and here they are both together in a movie from Elaine May called Mikey Nikki. This is an amazing film, and it's really about friendship, betrayal, lots of different things. It's a gangster film in many ways, so if you like all of those things, and if you like seeing Peter Falk and John Cassavetes work together, honestly, I could see them do anything together, and this is a wonderful way to be introduced to the both of them. John Cassavetes, of course, independent filmmaker. Peter Falk in many films, in many of the Cassavetes films, but also as Columbo. This movie's from 1976. It is spine number 957. I'll show the inside of this. I love Elaine May also working with Mike Nichols. Obviously, they were a comedy improv team for many, many years. But Elaine May did some films on her own, and this is one of the best ones. And I feel like there's a great little backstory about Mikey and Nikki too, about how the studio didn't really like it, and so Elaine May was kind of keeping a print of it, and it's all really detailed on the extra features, I believe, too. Many of these films are on the Criterion channel, and I think this one is. And I was listening to the audio interview from 1976 with Peter Falk too. So you don't really see him, but you can listen to the audio interview on the Criterion channel if you have that. This next one, I've talked about this movie. What a great film this is, from Paul Mazursky, An Unmarried Woman. Beautifully done performance from Jill Clayburgh, one of my favorite actresses from the 70s. This movie is from 1978, and it is spine number 1032 from the Criterion Collection. And I'll hold this up too so you can see some of the extra features on this. But I did a video on this one as well. I've been trying to do some more detailed videos on individual releases. But I'll read a little bit of the back. One woman's journey of self-discovery brings about a warmly human cultural conversation about female liberation in this wonderfully frank, funny chronicle of changing 1970s sexual politics by Paul Mazursky. Oscar-nominated Jill Clayburgh. I love her performance in this. She's amazing to watch. There's a scene also with a therapist that's one of my favorites in this movie. An Unmarried Woman, really great to see. I've talked about this next one too. This is a very independent film called Girlfriends, which I really enjoy. This movie is from 1978. It is spine number 1055. I guess I'm not showing the inside of all of these, but I'm showing a few of them. This is, again, beautifully done from the Criterion Collection. I love this movie too. I love the independence of this movie. It's a very quiet movie. It's about friends and roommates. When her best friend and roommate abruptly moves out to get married, Susan, Melanie Mayron, tries to be an artist while making ends meet as a bar mitzvah photographer on Manhattan's Upper West Side. She finds herself adrift in both life and love. This is an amazing film. I love the extra features on this. I love how independent this movie is. So if you're a fan of independent film, this is a great one to start with from the 70s. I've talked so much about Robert Altman on the channel, and this one I don't think I've talked about. I remember seeing this in the theater when it came out. And it's really a discussion of how movies get made in some ways in Hollywood. This is an older film from 1992, but it is The Player, which is one of my favorite Robert Altman films. I love Robert Altman, and I could watch any film that he does. I love all the performances here too. There's the back of that one. This one is spine number 812 from the Criterion Collection. And it's really shows kind of the details of, and it's, you know, sort of an essay on how to get a film made in Hollywood in many ways. And Tim Robbins is in this movie, a Hollywood studio executive with a shaky moral compass. Tim Robbins finds himself caught up in a criminal situation that would be right at home in one of his movie projects in this biting industry satire from Robert Altman. That's exactly what it is, a biting industry satire. So highly recommend this one. And if you're new to Robert Altman, this might be a good place to start also. Wow, I've talked about this movie so many times on the channel, but I just love it. And I was watching the Paul Giamatti Criterion Closet video from yesterday, and he mentioned this one, and I thought this is one of my absolute favorites. This Cat People, Jacques Tourneur, and also a Val Lewton production. This is a good introduction to these Val Lewton productions because it has the Val Lewton, The Man in the Shadows, a 2008 feature-length documentary that explores the life and career of legendary Hollywood producer, which I highly recommend. I love Cat People. I love how moody it is. This is a good one also for the Halloween season. But just to see a production like this, it's just, again, one of my favorites. This is the first, I'm reading from the back here too, this movie from 1942 is the first of the horror films producer Val Lewton made for RKO Pictures, redefined the genre by leaving its most frightening terrors to its audience's imagination, which is great. Which you see that a lot in, obviously, movies from the 70s too. A movie like Jaws that leaves a lot to the imagination. So I just love this one. Spine number 833. And I'll open this up too so you can see the beautiful artwork on the inside of this. There you go for that one. I love this movie a lot and regularly revisit it. I'm a huge fan of Jim Jarmusch, and this is one I don't think I've talked about too much. It is Mystery Train. If you get a chance to see any Jim Jarmusch movie, I highly recommend it. This is a great one. There's the back of that too, so if you want to pause, you can look at some of the extra features on it. Lots of amazing performances in this one. Spine number 521 from the Criterion Collection. And there's the inside of that too. You can see the disc, the Blu-ray disc looks like a record, which is nice to see. I love this one. I'm going to read a little bit about the back. From the back anyway, aloof teenage Japanese tourist, a frazzled Italian widow, and a disgruntled British immigrant all converge in the city of dreams, which in Jim Jarmusch's Mystery Train is Memphis. And that's the basic situation there. But I love this, love the mood of this movie, love the music, and it's one of my favorites from 1989, Mystery Train. And finally, last year, I was introduced to the films of Douglas Circ. And this is one of my favorites. I just love, I love it when I discover a new area of film and a new director and new performers and things like that. This one is a great one, but of course the Criterion Collection has a lot of these. Magnificent Obsession with Rock Hudson and let's see, am I missing? Jane Wyman is in this one as well. And look at how beautiful this is done. You get a lot of extra details about Douglas Circ. This has an audio commentary, Magnificent Obsession, John M. Stahl's 1935 adaptation of the same novel, so you get a different version of the film there as well. Lots of interviews, lots of, there's a tribute to Douglas Circ on this. This really got me into these movies, and this is spine number 457, again from 1954, and there's the inside of that. Very melodramatic. If you like melodrama, you're going to love Douglas Circ. And this is a great one. Of course, there are a few others there too. So those are my picks for the Criterion flash sale, which is hopefully happening this week. If you subscribe to the Criterion channel, you might have gotten a coupon through your email. So check for that. It's probably going to happen this week, hopefully, but it could happen later. Could happen in March as well. But I'm really hoping for this week. Usually when they send out that email, you know that the sale is coming very soon. I hope that if you're participating in the flash sale, I hope that you enjoy that. Thanks so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, click on like. And if this is your first video on the channel, please consider subscribing. Lots more great videos coming in 2024. I sincerely hope that everyone is safe and well, and I'll talk to you soon.